Welcome to PCGamer Radio. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy. And today with me in the studio, I've got HaggisSpongeTodd, who is a whale backer for Star Citizen. And welcome, Haggis. How are you doing? Well, how you doing, Lipstickpaddy? It's good to see you. I'll tell you what, over a week ago, I was so worried about Squadron 42. And go on, what was your worries? I was worried about no release date. But I'll tell you what, Lipstick, that Squadron 42 marketing strategy video was absolutely a banger. But I'll tell you, I did jump to the best case scenario part. I couldn't watch the whole video. Yeah, I do long videos, but I do put those show notes in so you can jump wherever. So if you're not worried about the release date, what are you worried about? Well, there's lack of content from CIG. There's been a lot on Defense Con and all these ships, and I might have bought, the Odin. We got help with the development costs and stuff. But the thing that I'm really worried about, and before I say this, I might be a whale, but I love this project. I love it. But at the minute, I'm so frightened at the release of Squadron 42. Go on, what's this? Where is? You're frightened. What is it? Let's get to the point. Well, I was in the weeds. The weeds of Star Citizen, on Spectrum, the community post, and I don't even know if it was a dream, but it was Sandy Roberts asking how should we start the tutorial for Star Citizen. And I'm going, how? What? You've not even started thinking about the tutorial yet? It's May, for goodness sake, it's May. Squadron 42 could be coming out in the next 4 months and you've not even started on the tutorial. This has got my giddy. Yeah, I think I heard something around Sandy Roberts doing that, but she's in the marketing. Sandy's got nothing to do with the game. Aye, but she is in the weeds of the game. She's part of marketing, isn't she? So she's probably as worried as I am that when people play Squadron 42 and then jump over to the persistent universe, they're going to shit their pants because it's so shite. The fucking tutorial is shite, isn't it? Yeah, it is, because, you're going to get mainstream players playing Squadron 42 and then they're going to jump into the PU, and if they play that tutorial, it's basically a simulator, isn't it? It's just a simulator. It is, it's like a simulator game, but it's still shite. It is absolutely rubbish. I mean, you've got people doing missions for Squadron 42. Are they not coming over to the persistent universe and doing a great tutorial for it? I mean, why are we not hearing anything about it? Well, we might hear something, something that's coming up to the PU, and I'm hopeful that they do this. But I think we should hear something on this, because I think that's more important than bringing base building in my own opinion. I completely agree. I don't want no new features coming in. That was from the sitcom a few years ago. And base building can go to 2027 for all I care. Because what I want is the persistent universe to expand by millions of people coming in from Squadron 42. And what we need is the lack of features coming in now. The only features I really want coming in now are the planets and nicks, the social chats, and the all of the social things you need for an MMO. That is it, and the tutorial that needs to come in. The tutorial, a better tutorial, because if we waste this opportunity, it could be disastrous for the PU, because we need players. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. They need to cut back on the features, delay the features, and get time on polishing, because Squadron 42, for me, has all of the people polishing it. That's why 4.8 is in the weeds at the minute, and it's like almost as getting up there as 3.8. So I think once Squadron gets the gold, I don't know what they're calling it, the gold release or whatever, then I think there would be more of those people heading over to the PU to try and polish that, because it really needs to be bug-free. I think, yeah, because if they're not bringing features in, they can at least start to do what they did last year, which was tighten up stuff. But you know, I'm really worried, and this really gets me. Go is the server. It's the server. It's the server. And at CitizenCon, they had to delay the free flight because of all these people coming in. Now you imagine if millions of people from the mainstream come into the PU after Squadron, how's the server gonna behave then? And I hear people saying that they should just buy more servers, but I'm really worried about this transition between those two games. I 100% agree. This is the big talking point that no one in the Star Citizen YouTube space is actually calling for. They are all getting pissy about all these bugs in the game when it's an alpha, and they should really be pressing CIG on the bloody tutorial. I agree, Haggis. It's absolutely outrageous how the community keep going, hammering them for stuff that's coming out. I agree. Oh, look, the Odin's coming out. Whoopie-doo, it's so expensive. It's player blah blah. It's buy to win blah blah blah. That is the less concern. The Odin could be after 1.0. Like, why are you worrying about that? You might as well be worried about where you can go fishing in the verse at the minute due to lack of rivers. And fishing huts and fishing shops. I'm more worried about that than I am the Odin coming in. And I bloody bought an Odin. Yeah, I think people need to start hammering the fact that we need to know about the transition, because 1.0 for me is in the future. The near future is what I'm calling the exchange, or the transitional moment. When they finish Squadron and go over to the PU, that is the biggest worry. Haggis, I agree. That is the biggest worry. I've been dreaming of this. It's been giving me nightmares. And unless CIG do something that actually, I don't know, calms me down, I don't think we're gonna, I don't know, I'm more worried about the transition than I am about Squadron 42. That for me is what I'm trying to say. All right, Haggis, thank you so much for your point. I'm pretty sure our viewers might have something to say about this. Are you willing for CIG to delay features like base building and just bring in Planets of Nyx and Haggis? What else? What else did you say? the chats, you know, for the MMO things, you can chat to people, invite to group and stuff like that. Oh yeah, of course, the social features and all that stuff. Well, they have said that they're thinking about doing instancing, and they're going to be instancing things in the game. They have been talking about that, but the first instant content in the game should be the tutorial that they've been saying about. That it would be like that. So that's what they need to be working on, and get all of the other instant stuff delayed, because it needs to be bloody polished, the PU, as much as they can for the transition. Yeah, I completely agree. There's no point shoving content in if it's going to upset the PU. It needs to have balance. And this PU of putting stuff in for a week, what is going on? It needs to germinate in the PU for months. I mean, World of Warcraft, the PU there can last 6 months. What's this accelerated PU about? I agree. You know, the PU for me is too quick. Do you know, I actually feel that they should just do the World of Warcraft model and just do one expansion every year so that they can have these long PTUs, because it's just bringing these monthly or a patch out every 2 months just shakes the game too much, and all these bugs come out, and it needs longer germination in a PTU. And the only way they could do that is if they do one yearly drop, and I think that'll be what SitCon is about, is what they're going to be working on the next year, and then we'll get that as one big drop. I think, you know, Jared was saying they did one big drop and it broke the game. Yeah. That's because they didn't have a long PTU. That's it. I mean, they have to switch this model for 1.0 anyway. They can't just drip features out like they have been doing. I agree. And hopefully YouTubers out there will start talking about the transition, because this is the most important thing for 2026 for the 1.0. We really need these new people coming over and enjoying the game, and without a tutorial, because the tutorial's just going to scare them away. And all the bugs as well, yeah. Does need to be bug smashed and polished and stuff like that. And again, the server tech, you know, is like, there is a lot of worries over the transition. You know, a comment said that, you know, he thought the game Squadron might be pushed to 2027, but I don't think that's going to happen now. They're quite they're locked in for their marketing. Like I said in my video, they'll have scheduled a lot of stuff, especially with the cast of Squadron 42, and they will be having a red carpet moment, most likely in September. So, and then the release in October is what I said in my video, of course. So, anyway, your worry should not be on the release date. If you're worried about the release date, go and check my video out, the Squadron 42 marketing strategy video. And if you like Haggis, just use the use the show notes to jump to the best case scenario part, just as HaggisSpongeTodd did. All right, then. Haggis, thank you so much for coming on today's Quick Chat podcast, talking about your worries about Squadron 42. And if there's anyone out there with worries, put your worries down below, and I'll see if I can talk to them between me and HaggisSpongeTodd. So thank you, Haggis. Hey, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on this first episode of such, and I'll see all you guys in the verse. Yeah, and it's exciting times going forward, and with time running out, all our eyes are on June the 5th, the Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley. And as my prediction on the Squadron 42 marketing strategy, it needs to be 100% cinematic, not showing any gameplay, and ending with Squadron 42 is coming out in 2026, and don't give a release date. I think that will get everybody talking. Why is there no release date? And we're halfway through the year. That's going to be part of the marketing brilliance of the strategy that I think CIG have cooking. So yeah, do check my video out on my channel. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy. I've been with HaggisSpongeTodd today, and you take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the verse. Bye for now. Well, thanks for watching. And if you remember, you can please subscribe and like the video. And don't remember, you can also hit the bell for notices on the channel. Yeah, we've also got a Twitter you can see on our banner, so check that out too. So take care and bye-bye.